DC's icon line has disappointed me. It's clear that Hasbro has set the standard for what a line of superhero action figures should, be. Yep, I'm filming while working at school, so please excuse any roughness in the audio. Anyway, us toy collectors who wanted to add some lovely DC characters in our collection were pretty sad to find out DC's icon line just wasn't cutting it. Although none of the DC characters that the icons line offered have ever truly enticed me or my wallet, I just knew that I had to pounce in this 2-pack since I'm a fan of the comics that the characters are based off of. As you can see, this is a DC Icons Collectibles Super Sons 2-pack. The Super Sons consist of Superboy, Superman's son, and Robin, Batman's son. Together, they have wacky adventures like snowball fights, getting turned into an old man, and killing your entire family. It's a concept that practically writes itself. See a little fart in my lips there? Oh. The packaging here is stylish, even if it does feel a bit cheap in material. Figure and accessories here, name over there, text and stuff here, and the name of the father. What? The logo is up top, and at the back is all the other figures in the wave. Rest in peace, Booster Gold Beetle 2-pack. This is a little paper with some of the most rudimentary instructions. Oh look, we've got some instructions for Supergirl. Thanks, DC. Your expenditures truly know no bounds. Really though, thanks DC, for providing us with a sufficient number of accessories. We're looking at 5 pairs of hands and a staff for Robin, and 4 pairs of hands and a floating base for Superboy. How generous of them. Now, if only they were as generous with the articulation. With these hands, Robin can punch, hold his batarangs in 2 different ways depending on which hand you're using, hold a staff, relaxed hands, and some kung fu hands. His staff is rather short, just like Robin himself. Superboy has many of the same hands as Robin, give or take a few. Fists, relaxed hands, grabbing hands, what he grabs I do not know, and some kung fu hands. But since this is a Superboy, they're flying hands. He also has an elevated base / flight stand. It's definitely not as effective as a flat peg stand or as a flight stand, so instead we get this weird hybrid that looks kinda nice, but having to rely only on one leg to hold a figure up is only gonna be a major setback in the long run. It's not a very good attempt from DC, but at least it comes with a stand, unlike current Marvel Legends. The transparent design also makes it more display ready. It looks like something I'd see at a con. All the hands are unique and more than sufficient in giving you all the poses you could want. They're satisfyingly easy to swap out too. It's just too bad that we don't have an interchangeable hood to put on Robin or any extra faces either. Those would have been pretty nice. Robin, well, looks like Robin. The current one at least. Superboy too. All the necessary sculpt, paint, and costume detail is there to help bring out both of these characters to life. The figures are fitted with some lovely soft plastic for their capes, and also for the shirt that expands past Robin's utility belt. We only get one facial expression for each figure, a slightly confident smile from Robin, and a 1,000-yard stare from Superboy. Robin's confident facial expression can be used at any time. Someone saw me. Robin's confident facial expression can be used in any situation, because of how confident the character is. But Superboy's? I don't know, man. I don't know. Sadly, my figures have fallen victim to some minor paint speckling and chipping. A majority of my woes here are concentrated on Robin's head. The Boy Wonder? More like the Boy Blemish. Huh? You like that one? I'm gonna put a laugh track in, it's gonna be so funny. Superboy has some paint problems on his torso as well, but oh well, I wasn't expecting perfection in this 2-pack. Both figures have the same articulation and joints, with the only difference being their range caused by differences in the costume. A ball joint in the head lets you move in a full 360. This far up, this far down, and some minor head tilting. The shoulders are on a swivel and hinge combo, with Robin's shoulders having significantly less range due to his cape. There's a bicep cut, double hinge elbows, and all the hands have the same swivel and hinge combo. You might have noticed that Superboy's jacket has lines in the design. This means that posing his arms will often misalign said design. The same goes for the wavy zipper in the center of his jacket. Oh well, what can you do? At least the middle elbow piece is the red and blue split, just like other pieces. The torso joints on both fingers are awkward as heck. The ball joint and hinge allow for Robin to bend forward and back with ample range, but has some very limited side-to-side movement. Superboy, however, can barely crunch forward, and can still bend back, most likely to retrofit some sort of flying pose. he still has plenty of side-to-side movement. Unfortunately, the Icon's line suffers from a lack of waist and thigh articulation. It was only after holding these figures that I realized just how important these two simple pieces of articulation were. The top of the legs are ball and hinged, with the shape of the crotch severely limiting the range of movement. Thankfully, Robin doesn't suffer from this. Heck, his shirt skirt barely hinders the movement, because it's a shirt that acts like a skirt. Skirt. Their legs kick this far outwards, this far back, and have plenty of splitting room. Knees are double jointed, and I'm really digging this jean tear jean joint, by the way. Robin's knees, on the other hand, look a little odd. Maybe just a tad larger than they should be. I know the Icon's line are rendering these characters in a less stylized way as they're depicted in the comics, but they're maybe just a tad larger than they should be. Both Bois' feet are frighteningly tight hinges that have a fair amount of range, if you can manage to move them. Besides the hinge, the figures also have an ankle pivot. On paper, there seems to be enough articulation to please a collector, but in reality, the lack of thigh cuts, waist cuts, and other aforementioned articulation limitations made it all the more harder for me to better like these figures. No amount of ample accessories and great sculpt work can save the fact that these figures are quite a ways behind, especially when being compared to any other figure that's being released. So, as I reach the end of this review, what do I think about this 2-pack as a whole? Well, I'm sad to say that this 2-pack is not worth it. Upon further examination and playing around with it, it really is just not worth it. If you need some Super Sons figures and absolutely cannot wait for another, more improved release, then I guess you should jump at this. Just be wary of the limitations in the articulation, the lack of different faces, and the limited posing options that come with both of those hindrances. It just plain sucks that the longer I played with them, the more I stopped liking them. I didn't really have the highest of hopes, but... Shut up, I'm almost done. I'm at the last bit. I didn't really have the highest of hopes, but I can tell you this much. I do hope that we get a version 2.0.